And so what has to happen is we have to work hard to come up with a new shared story. Why? Well, because if you don't have a shared understanding of the past, you won't have this shared trajectory for the future. When I first started doing this work with couples, one of the things that I noticed was that there were certain couples that would get 2, 3, 4, 5 years out, post-discovery, post-disclosure, and end up divorced. These weren't cases where the addict wasn't getting sober or kept relapsing or what. No, in these cases, the addict might actually have some really good, solid recovery from the addiction, and the partner is in post-traumatic growth and not experiencing the symptoms of the trauma anymore. And what was even weirder is they weren't even like mad at each other. They were sort of at peace. Oh, we're just not the same people, you know? And that's when it dawned on me, these people aren't grieving together. They've individually worked a recovery process, and they've done an individual grief process. Grief is a meaning-making process. It gives us a new assumptive reality on which we base our understanding of the world, our identity, who we are, who you are. And if I do this work in isolation from my partner, there's a high chance we're going to come up with two different stories. And if we have two different stories of the past, we're pointed in two different directions for the future. And over time, we're going to grow further and further and further apart. This is a whole intensive that I do with couples often, and I've been working on refining how I do this in the process that I teach. But basically, you pick one segment of the line. You can't do the whole story at once. That's too much. That's overwhelming. So you pick one thing, one place where it's really hard, probably for the betrayed partner specifically, to try to reconcile the gray with the black. I'm just going to make something up. I now know you were acting out on our honeymoon, and you help them begin to share that experience in a way that the one who did the betraying is reflecting it back with empathy, compassion, in a place of attunement and resonance. What happens there is it literally changes the way the brain is processing the memory. There was a study done that said every time you recall a memory, it showed that every time you recall a memory, you alter that memory in light of your present state. So now, if they're in this place of safety and connection as they're talking about this really painful thing from the past, it changes the whole way they're experiencing the memory. And now we can help the one who did the betraying share where he was back then and what he thinks of that now. And somehow in the midst of all of that, they can look at that piece and have a shared understanding. Doesn't make the pain go away, doesn't make it all happy, but they look at it and they feel like they have a shared story there because they know each other's individual experience and they're holding that up next to each other. And they can do that piece by piece with their story.